Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
It is an honour to meet you. I've loved you since I was a kid. It's just, oh boy. This is to Austin St. John. How's the talks going for Dino Charge coming?
What?
How's the what?
How's the what?
For Power Rangers Dino Charge, new series.
Talks for Dino Charge.
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, they've been going on for about a couple of seconds. No, actually, I've spoken with the executive producers for the company. Once I got back from the Middle East, Chip is one of the current executive producers, and I was in the Middle East over the last 4 years, working as a medic. And I met with Chip in Pasadena, and he explained to me that they spent the last couple of seasons where I was not available, I was in the Middle East, bringing back some of the original Rangers, so I kind of missed that boat. He says, but now that we know that you're back, we'll have to see what the future holds. We don't, I think he doesn't see anything coming in the next couple of seasons, but he was excited to hear from me, I was excited to talk to him, and we'll see what happens. So no contracts, no promises, but you never know.
Wouldn't it be exciting to see the Red Ranger back, y'all? Yeah.
Should I shave? Everybody's like, you need to shave. Like, I kind of, all right.
She's like, I
She's
think
like,
it's
no.
sexy.
She was,
Don't shave.
Don't shave. Keep it sexy.
all right. So I'll be the bearded ranger. Not the bearded lady, the bearded ranger. Let's keep that
Red
straight.
Ranger.
And we have a question off to the side from a gentleman in a Pikachu hat. Do you want to stand up?
Okay, this is just a general question to all of you. What's your favorite of the later Power Ranger series?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question because the thing is when we were on the show, we didn't watch the show when we were there. So we haven't really seen the later series. I can tell you who some of my favorite people are. I absolutely love Aaron Cahill. I love that entire cast. I've become really good friends with them. I love Nakia Burrese. I love Kat. I love Azim. I've become really good friends with them. Yeah, so I mean, I love all of them. I haven't had the opportunity to see their shows though. Any of you guys? He was on Samurai.
Yeah, I've met so many.
We've met a lot of them.
I had no idea how many there were. Like,
There's like 90. I think there's probably 90.
Yeah.
Is there that many?
that's crazy.
It's funny because when we get together, we don't really talk Power Rangers. We just like talk, hey, what's up? How you doing?
It's more like it's PTSD for Power Rangers. You're like,
Man, back in 1993 when I survived the show, you never believe it. We had to walk uphill in the snow both ways.
so it's just a big family. It's kind of cool. I met a lot. I can't remember all their names because there's a lot.
There's a lot of Power Rangers.
It's pretty amazing to think that here we are 21 years later and there's been so many different casts of Power Rangers. I mean, I'm just happy that we started it all,
Somebody told me that this season the show is going to hit episode 800.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, 800. I only did 100. You did like what, 200?
200, yeah.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin was the longest. It did like 200 episodes of Mighty Morphin.
That's crazy.
Something crazy.
800 episodes
MMP.
of purses turning into monsters.
Yeah.
You would think they run out of ideas. I mean, they did turn a person into a monster. So I think they were running out of ideas.
Ideas, then, yeah.
Just saying.
The Oysterizer. The Eye Guy.
Great question. Thank
Pudgy
you.
Pig.
Good question.
Okay, who has... Well, there's a hand. Try to keep your hands in the air so I can see you and get to you quicker. Hello.
This is directed to Walter Jones.
Hello, love.
Hi. Do you still dance? You want to show some moves?
They were upstairs dancing. They were upstairs dancing a few seconds ago.
I'm pretty sure we were dancing last night.
Don't pull nothing. Don't pull nothing. We got a long weekend ahead. Go Walter. Go Walter. Go Walter. Go Walter. Go Walter. Go Walter. He's still limbo. He's a good chair. Anybody a masseuse? We got a masseuse in the house.
So for those of you who may have been out on the town last night, I'm pretty sure there was some salsa going on because this guy and I were salsa-ing.
Yes, I love salsa. I'm actually a world champion salsa dancer. It's been my way to continue dancing, which I love so much. And I love dancing. In fact, anybody want to go out tonight? Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we have a question towards the middle at the back.
Nice. Hi.
Hey guys, nice to see you. As probably everyone here, growing up watching you has been fantastic. My sister's fiance is extremely jealous because he was fanatical about you guys. His mum even forbidden from watching you because he actually tried martial arts and fell down the stairs. However, the question I want to ask you guys is, what do you think about the recent movie reboot that's been going on? Because I've seen some images. Lord Zed looks really evil. I've only seen one picture of the Red Ranger. The Black Ranger's meant to be a street fighter. Just want to get your ideas, thoughts on that, if you have any.
Oh, he's got more information than I do.
I know, right? You need to fill us in.
Really? Wow, that sounds exciting.
Thanks for telling us how it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's amazing. I think it's great for the fandom. You guys have been asking for it forever, and I think they're very smart to do a reboot of Mighty Morphin because that was probably the most popular out of all the series. And who knows? You guys got to write them lots of letters and tell them that we all need to make cameos in that movie. They need the Mighty Morphin cast to show up.
No, I'm excited about the movie. I think the fact that the reboot movie is gonna inspire an entire different generation of people to enjoy the Power Rangers and what we started, and I think it's pretty exciting because I'm like, wow. I mean, guys, it's 21 years later, and here we are. We're still talking about it. We're still doing it, and a new movie, especially a movie in the vein of like Transformers, would be really exciting.
Yeah.
And we have a question towards the front.
Hi, yeah. I grew up watching you all the time, and I still watch it now. I have all of the Mighty Morphin episodes. Even my 9-year-old brother, who was born in 2005, I sit with him and watch it all the time. Carrying on from the last question, if, say, you were asked right this second to be in the reboot, even as a cameo, like, what would you say?
It's morphin' time. Mastodon, Tyrannosaurus.
Saber-tooth tiger.
Triceratops. I mean, Triceratops.
That's more like it.
Yeah, I think we would all be very, we're totally open to it and would love to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question from a gentleman here as well.
Hello, guys. I'm from Qatar. Long way
Salam
from here.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Where were you in the Middle East?
I was Kuwait.
Anyways, my question is, how
right
was
on.
it personally knowing Zordon?
You know, I always found he was giving orders. He was very bossy.
Yeah.
You know, do this, beat up that guy. You know, it's like, oh,
He never wore spandex. Gosh.
He was sending us places, yeah. So
We gotta call him Uncle
I don't
now.
know.
We're like Uncle Zordon.
Yeah. But, you know, some of the hardest parts was actually when we had to sit down and always shave his head. I mean, then
We
paint
always
him
had
green.
to save him.
Yeah.
It
There was that one Christmas he forgot to get us gifts.
Yeah, we need to make like Christmas balls for the Christmas tree with a bald Zordon head. It
Exactly.
could work.
Nice. I'd buy that.
Okay, a question from a lady at the front here.
Lady in the front.
He's gonna get his workout in.
I know.
Hi, have you got any funny stories from on set?
Oh boy.
Oh, man.
Why don't you jump on this?
You want me to tell my...
They're all like,
They're all related, for me, they're all related to Jason David Frank.
yeah. He's the prankster.
He was the biggest jokester on set. And the one that I tell and he tells a lot is the famous fly story. Once I was stuck in the command center shooting a bunch of scenes and I wasn't able to leave set. And I was starving and I was really hungry. And Jason and I hung out a lot. We were best friends and I used to babysit his children. So he said, oh, don't worry, Dave. I'll go make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
So
No
nice,
big
that
deal.
one.
And so I thought, oh, wow, he's being a good friend. He's going to go make me a sandwich. And so he brought me a sandwich back, and I ate it. And then I started seeing a bunch of people start laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? And Jason's like, oh, I put a fly in your sandwich. So I ate a peanut butter, jelly, and fly sandwich.
Protein.
And that was one of his pranks. But he was quite the prankster. He also broke a brush on my head once. I was sitting.
Gosh. Every
It's not
time we
big
do a
deal.
show, you have a
I was
new
sitting in the
story.
makeup chair, and he came up behind me with a brush, and he went, "Whack," and it snapped on my head. I mean, it didn't mean to break, but
I knew he was hard-headed.
So yeah, that's a couple. I'm sure you guys got some too.
I remember I was 17, 18. I was extremely young and naive. Now I'm just old and naive.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first gay man that I met, his name was Carlos. He was our makeup artist. And my father was a Marine, my mom was a police officer, so there wasn't much of that around my house. When I met Carlos, he was super friendly, outgoing, I loved him to death, but I had never been around a very open,
Flamboyant.
feminine gay man. And I remember I sat down in the chair and he was just, yes, so I just love your eyelashes. and I mean, he's like right here in my face.
Well, you have very lovely eyelashes.
You do have very lovely eyelashes.
Thank you, I think.
Yeah.
And then I came to love Carlos. He was the coolest dude. But that was a little bit scary. And so we used to play pranks on Carlos. Like, I forgot about some of that.
Yeah.
We'd like take his water spritzer and he'd be working on somebody next to me. I'd grab his water spritzer and be like, in the back of the head. You know, 17-year-old with a water cannon. Why would you do that?
We used to do this thing on the set. It wasn't really a prank, but it was like, we'd be in the command center, and we shot 4 episodes every 2 weeks. So when we shot out of order. So when we were in the command center, we'd be shooting 4 different episodes. So it was a full day of the command center. And just, I'm sorry to dishearten you, but the command center, there was nothing there. It's like, it's all green screen. So it's like one big, huge green screen, and there's like a thing hanging up with a piece of paper on it, and that's what we were looking at to look at Zordon. So we'd be looking at this paper all day. And we get so bored that we just mess with each other, and we start doing 1-inch punches. We had this thing we do 1-inch punch. I think Austin showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
Where you put your hand on somebody like this, and you take the energy from your legs to your body, and you punch forward. And we would challenge each other to 1-inch punches in the middle of the set. And sometimes we got knocked over the set.
You'd be
That
surprised.
trend continued once I got on the show. They were still 1-inch punching each other.
We all got
great.
pretty good at it.
It's a lot of fun. Don't do that at home.
Yeah, don't try it at home.
We have a question in the middle.
Hi, I just want to say how awesome it is to finally meet you guys. You guys were like my heroes growing up.
Where's your accent?
American.
I was gonna
So
say
Chicago.
What's up, Chi-Town?
Nice.
Chi-Town.
Yo.
Anyway, my question is for you guys: what was your least favorite scene to shoot, or your favorite scene to shoot?
Mm-hmm.
You realize there's like 400 episodes, 500
Right.
I
episodes
realize
up
that.
here, right?
My least favorite scene to shoot was actually in the movie. We had, we jumped out of the plane and did the whole like skydiving scene. Everybody got to go, and we were doing like what they call green screen. They had us up probably as high as this ceiling. And you would flip, 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 and then pose for the camera, flip, 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 and kind of do that thing. Well, everybody got to go, and I was the last one to shoot. And they were like, we'll shoot you after dinner. So I was like, yay, great. So we had dinner, and sure enough, maybe 30 minutes after, they pull me up, and it's like flip, 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 bleh. And so I'm just like throwing up, it's like flying out of my mouth, like really bad, but I'm 80 feet up in the air, and they just like, Jason, Frank, and I think David were taking pictures. They've never surfaced, but thankfully, I was just like, they had to cover the camera, and it took them like another 15 minutes to get me down, so I just violently threw up for like 15 minutes up in the air. Least favorite scene to shoot.
One of my favorite scenes, my favorite things to do were the fighting. That was always fun. And, we fought the putties a lot, but a lot of times they would put us together. So Austin and I would have to spar, or I would spar with Jason Frank. And I don't think Billy and I ever sparred. But that was always a lot of fun because, we're martial artists and we got a little bit of ego. So we would we'd be inspired to be like really good, like we had to do it fast. And Austin and I, we would start doing something, and it's supposed to be like this. Okay, we're gonna do it like this, and it became like this. It was so much. We go so fast because we're like challenging each other to be better, and that was really cool. I love that. I think my favorite scene was the dance off with Bulk, because I did that dance off with him.
He can really dance.
Yeah, he danced well.
He can actually really dance.
But I had to do. I did these spins, right? I did 5 turns. I've never, ever in my life done 5 turns again or before that. And so it was captured on film, so it lives forever. I'm excited about it.
I think he's just crazy and likes to spin.
Yeah.
We don't even talk about all the spinach. Probably my least favorite scene had to have been in the first 5 episodes, and it involved Pineapple the Clown. I hate Pineapple the Clown. Actually, I really like the guy. I actually met the guy.
Yeah.
That Power Morphicon. A really nice
Months
guy.
ago.
But I hate
We're doing a convention with him
I hate
next
Pineapple
weekend.
the Clown. Is he gonna be there?
Yeah,
again?
he's going to be in Rhode Island.
So again, I'm 17, 18, completely immature young guy. And there was a scene where I had to come run around the corner with Dave and Walt and Amy Jo was there. Twee was still there at that time. And we come running around the corner and I had to be like dead serious. You know, I was the leader. You're going down, clown. And I begged the director, please don't make me say that. Can I change it? Like, I'm gonna take you down, man. I'm gonna kick your butt. Something, please. Like, does it have to be you're going down, clown? Please don't make me do that.
You did it so well, though.
And he made me
Did
do
it very
it.
well.
So, but that was early in the season, you know, very first season, where basically it was like marching orders. You will say this, and you will look this way, and you're gonna be this intense, and everything you must say must be, you know, like with the bad Japanese movie, you know, with the it was partially a bad lip sync. Now you must pay, you know. So when I was doing that, I was like, I hated that. I hated that. I really hated that line. Ones I loved. There were so many. Like I love the one where Walt had a spider dropped on his shoulder because the spider was gonna eat him, and I knew it, and I was like, "Oh, they said when the spider did that, that was bad," and he's doing that on your shoulder, like at your neck.
Yeah.
And but anyway, it all worked out well. They'd fed him a bunch of crickets. They're like, "He's not gonna eat you, Walter," and he tried to eat Walter, and I love that. I thought it was funny, and so we ended up. He ended up taking home the spider and naming him Homie. And he and I were in the same house with some of the stunt guys because, you know, they didn't pay us well enough to live alone very well. At least not most of us. And so Homie lived in an aquarium in our wall for years.
Now understand, Homie's not just a spider, it's a tarantula.
Like,
big old tarantula. Yeah.
Big guy.
But he didn't bite me. It was kind of scary because they put a fake tarantula on my shoulder first, and that was fine. And then they go cut, and they come in and they put a real tarantula on my shoulder. And I've never even seen a real tarantula. And I'm like, okay, this is safe, right? And they're like, don't worry about it, it's fine. As long as he doesn't rear up, he won't bite you. And then the director goes, now look at the spider and scream. And I go, ah, and the spider goes, I'm really screaming, get him off.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, that's bad. They said that was bad.
I mean, I had a lot of great moments that I liked. I did 200 episodes, but usually in the first season, those were always the funnest for me to film. The episode where Amy Jo and I switched places, it's called Switching Places, where she became Billy and I became Kimberly. That was a lot of fun. And she and I also get to do one called Power Ranger Punks, where we became kind of like evil, bad punks. That was a lot of fun.
I was jealous.
You were jealous? Yeah. I mean, there's so many good things. The only scene that I didn't like filming was, again, in the first season, Billy, my character, created something called the Rat Bug. And it was like an old VW bug that flew around the city. I don't even know how that happened. And anyways, we had to shoot a scene where all 5 of us were stuck in the Rat Bug. And Amy Jo farted. And we were
She
trapped.
always farted.
We were trapped in the bug with her smell, and we had to keep acting. It was not fun. That was my least favorite scene. So
she ate carrots that day.
Yeah,
She
I don't know.
farted all the time.
Oh, it was wrong.
Poor Amy Jo. All right, great question. Whoever
We
asked
have a question here in the middle from Cowboy Deadpool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, Cowboy Dip.
Hi guys.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
I'm Deadpool from Italy. Yeah, I'm your fan since I was 10.
Ciao,
Thank you.
It's a good feeling to see you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
what is the felt to driving Megazord?
How does it feel to drive a Megazord?
It feels very powerful.
Yeah. Where is Parker today? He's here. Have you parked?
Where's it parked today?
Where's it
It's
parked today?
outside.
On the roof.
He's out back with the Ferrari.
Okay. Thank you guys. Morphe time!
Yeah.
Bienvenuto.
Right, we go down to the front.
I keep coming up with French.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you all. I know you've sort of already done the It's Morphin Time, but if I handed you my morpher, would you do it properly?
You know what I would love to do? I would love to get everybody together at the end of the convention and do a group morph for London that we can post on our Facebook pages for all of you to see.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Would you guys be down with that?
Will you guys do it with
Morph
us?
together?
Yeah? Cool.
All right.
Okay, so we will end with a giant group morph. This is going to be awesome. Oh, there's so many people. Right, I'm going to go with our Naruto cosplayer.
Hello. My question is, how great was it working with other Red Rangers in Forever Red?
Good question.
You know, I had traveled a lot. I kind of left the Hollywood scene. I don't even remember how they got a hold of me anymore. But when they called me up, they're like, hey, we're doing this episode with the other Red Rangers. I was like, cool, like 2 or 3. You know, because I knew that Cardenas had come. I knew Jason Frank was Red after Cardenas. And I thought, yeah, maybe one more. I was wrong. So they told me, I was like, no, I think they said there had been 11 or 12 at that time. And Steve didn't make that episode. But when they told me, my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. But I got there and I met these guys and they were all cool. You know, we were part of the leadership family. And, you know, we just shook hands and they were like, yeah. Some of these guys were like, I grew up watching you. And I was like, damn, I'm old. But they were all really cool guys. You know, we showed up, we did our thing, and it was like a day and a half on 2 different locations. We did the fight scene in what was an old power, because it was like a power plant in LA, you know, doing flips and, you know, doing our thing. And the guys were all very talented. All of them were, or at least I think maybe all but one had a significant history, accomplished martial arts. So it was really great to meet them. It was really neat to see how the history and the show had continued.
Okay, we have a question for the gentleman here.
Yes, hello. I would like to ask, how did it feel meeting Geki from your Japanese counterpart?
He's cool.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Good guy.
We actually spent a good portion of the evening after we met, having dinner. We had a couple of beers together. We talked about maybe I should. We talked about. Well, I can't tell you everything we talked about, but we talked about maybe how absolutely nuts it would be if the original Japanese Ranger and the original Red Ranger were to put together a movie, and how the fans might respond to that. Something crazy like, you know, the Yakuza meets up with, you know, me, and we hate each other in the beginning, and things go on, and then we just end up kicking butt all over Japan, you know, people flying, kicks going, and we had a great time, you know. I had a couple of beers and the stories got even better. So one of these days, I think where we've left it now is that I need to make my way out to Japan and spend a little time with him. But he was really a cool guy. And it's funny because there was like, oh, you're the original Red Ranger. And I met him and he was like, no, there's been 26. You're like maybe 26. And we had a translator because he didn't speak much English. So I was like, I'm not number 1. I'm number 26. Damn it, man. So it was great. It was really cool to see the man who had created something I was able to continue in the English-speaking world. And Italian and French and Spanish and a few other places.
Right.
Okay, we've got time for one more question, and it is going to be from this gentleman here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
One question I've got is, what was the audition process like when you were first auditioning to become the Power Rangers?
You don't want to answer that?
That's a long one, buddy.
For us in the original cast, it was probably a good 6 to 8 week process. There was thousands of people that auditioned for Power Rangers. I originally started auditioning for the Red Ranger, and I had 3 auditions for that, and I realized I wasn't going to get that role, so I begged the casting director and the producers to let me read for Billy, and they did. And then I had 5 more auditions for Billy, and I was one of the lucky ones out of the thousands that got the role. But it was a long process, you know. And when you move to LA to be an actor, it's like you want the job so bad, and it's hard because you have to go on for so many weeks. What was it like for you?
I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't an actor. Like, all these guys had experience. I was like, you want me to, what's a mark? You want me to stand on what? The lights, stand face the lights. Yeah, I was 17. They were like, here's a monologue. I was like, what's a monologue? Okay. And they're like, read this and be excited. You're gonna save the world. Okay. And it was this really cheesy monologue for a show called Phantoms. It wasn't called Power Rangers when we did the audition. And they had me do lots of martial arts. Lots of martial arts. We did the final audition at 20th Century Fox, and I had this choreographed fight with Yamashita Tadashi, who is an amazing fight choreographer, bunch of big movies. And he kept pushing me to do this one kick really fast at full speed. I was like, no, I've been doing this a long time. Not as long as him, he was a master. I had a black belt at the time. And I was like, even I knew, I was like, I'm gonna kick you in the head if you make me do this full speed. I didn't want to do it. All the big wigs for 20th Century Fox, the last day, we're all in this like big table area, and he was like, do it. So I did it. And I kicked him right upside the head. And
he asked for it.
But he was a pro. Like, he rolled out of it, got up, walked around, and he came back and he's looking at, like, he played it up. You never knew that it was like this bad thing. And when he came back around, I was like, I'm about to die. He's gonna kill me right here. And but I lived and I got the role, and I didn't know you auditioned for Red Man. That's cool. I didn't know that. So anyway, that was my story.
When I walked into the room, they're like, okay, so this guy, Zach, he's got to do hip-hop keto. So can you dance hip-hop for us? And they put on some music that was some really bad music. It was like not hip-hop at all. And so I like did some hip-hop dancing. I'm like, all right, I got that, right? And they said, now can you do some martial arts? All right, martial arts, I can do that. Did like a little kata. And can you do any flips? I'm like, well, this room is small, but I can. Did a backflip, and knock that out. And you're like, okay, good. Now can you put it together? And I went, okay. Thought about something, came up with some moves, did a little hip-hop keto. And they're like, all right, good, that's good. And I know one of the other casts, this guy named Wiley, who's very talented. His version of hip-hop keto was like Michael Jackson. So he's dancing like Michael Jackson and fighting, which I don't know how that would have gone over, but I was really happy that I was able to create that for him, and it was cool. I remember Austin, he said he wasn't an actor. He was very new at acting. I think if I remember right, he came to the audition on a bet. Somebody said, I bet you won't go and audition for this part. And he did. And we got in the room and we had to do this scene together. And I'm an actor. I had already had a degree in musical theater. And they tell me that I helped him a lot when we were in the room together because I was carrying him through the scene, kind of like making sure he had his lines and giving him motivations. And but we worked out. We had this great chemistry. We were friends, and it came across. It was good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, for our audition, obviously you guys know the show was already established. And we didn't know originally that we were going to be replacing Rangers. They kind of just had an open call audition in the paper to be on a TV show. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm there, I'll show up. And I mean, literally I showed up and there were thousands of people. Like, it looked like the line that you guys had to stand in just to get into this place. Like, I mean, it was huge. It was crazy. And so we literally went in and they weren't so nice to me. They were like, you had to either be a dancer, a martial artist, or a gymnast. And so we read our little monologue, but they weren't so nice. They didn't have any music. So I was like, oh, I brought music. They were like, we don't have a radio. But you had like 60 seconds. So I just started dancing. And the lady just kind of looked at me and was like, can you come back, this afternoon? So the thousands of people turned into like a few hundred. And we came back, and this time they had music, and we got to, and they taped us. And I think it was probably 2 days later, they called us at the crack of dawn. It was like early in the morning. They were like, can you get on a plane tomorrow to go audition for producers? And I was like, heck yeah. And so they were like, you're just going to be there overnight. And, he's taking selfies. You're just going to be there overnight. So I was like, okay. So we brought 2 outfits. They put us in this seedy hotel. We got there. We went and auditioned. And literally, we had to go in by ourselves. And then they put us as groups, and they literally put me, Steve, and Johnny together. First group, we went in, and I got to see them do their audition. And to this day, we're like, it just blew my mind what they did, and just to kind of be a part of that moment. And then they kind of mixed us up, put us in a couple different groups. But by really 2 hours later, they sat everybody in the room together. So it was 20 people, sat us in a room, and they were like, okay, you, and you got the part. And we were like, oh my God. But then the other people were like crying and upset. And we were like sad for them, but happy for ourselves. And it was crazy. But they were like, 4 days later, they were like, you tell your parents to FedEx your clothes. You now live in LA and you start work on Monday. So my process was a lot different than theirs, but it was crazy.